And the doggies. Where are they at? Come on, doggies. We're here. They're stalling. Come on, doggies. Ah, look, the chat is up. I can't believe it. And I didn't mess it up. Pop out the chat. There it is. What is going on, fellas?
Oh, there we go.
We're here. Skidoo. What up, Porch Monkey? TJ? Excuse me, guys. Just somebody was out here taking a crap. Where are they at? They'll come back around. They'll come back around. All right. Yes. Welcome. Well, welcome.
Welcome.
Quite interesting. I got too big of a zoom window. Oh no, there we go.
Multiple windows.
Yeah. Thanks, A-Rod,
Exactly.
for that edge. Stilo. Oh, C-Clip. Yeah, no problem, buddy. Absolutely. BP, see you in a little while. King Ranch, hello. Jeffrey. Hola. Hey, what's up, Ziggy? 4 trucks. You guys are obviously buying them. So trick question. You guys are obviously buying them. I see a lot of the 23s rolling out. A lot of Tremors. I still have yet to see one with rear LED taillights. So I'm getting a little antsy because you know how I like the lights. But yeah, I mean, I have a Ford truck. I love it. It's a vessel that I use to make content for you all, and talk about the product, the brand, and the stuff that I would do to my truck. Yes. What's up? What's up? I want a 24 250 HO. The HOs. A lot of stuff going on underneath the hood. I think we talked about it or touched on it last week, just briefly when we were going through the coffee table book. But we were, my coworker and I, were just kind of fiddle messing around through the catalog, and there is a different transmission for the 6.7 if you have a high output versus the non-high output. So that was kind of interesting. Don't know what exactly is different. Zoo Daddy, what is up? DS, he was here in the pregame. He is out. But when we see his truck, it is it's going to be a little to get used to, just for the fact that it's going to have coolant lines directly in the way of having the intake manifold coming off. And there's not going to be really any way to like crimp them off because you're going to have to take these quick disconnects off. As soon as you do that, coolant's going to want to puke out of the male end of that line. So going to be a something to work around, other than not having a high output, and you'd be able to take the intake and stuff off. Oh, completely forgot. Oh my gosh, I feel like a complete buzzard. Oh, sorry. He's probably listening right now. I feel like always type Eric, and I need to type M for Master. There we go. Sorry, Chief. I have the 23s that I have been involved in. I've had to pull a dash. And the other one, you might see him in the comments tonight. I have to pull the dash on his 23 Tremor. And I don't know if this is going to be a common occurrence with something with 23s. I mean, I don't have a lot of them happen to the models now, or in the Illuma duties, I should say, but the evap temp sensor, for whatever reason, has decided that it's going to stay stuck at 54 degrees and allow the AC to continuously run and run. And I think I talked about it before. It was just turned into a block of ice. So kind of a bummer. I think that there should be maybe a different HVAC strategy to maybe inhibit this from happening if is it in fact an evap temp sensor problem, or do we have an HVAC module that's not allowing flow across the coil like it should? I don't know. It's a hypothesis I was thinking about. Has anyone done a 20 to 23 oil pan in cab, or is it even possible? I have heard of people doing it, skyjacking it. My coworker says that he knows some people that have done it. I had to replace an oil pump on one, and I pulled the cab and just left the transmission connected and just kind of skyjacked the engine in the chassis, dropped the pan out. I mean, it wasn't too bad to do. I took the trans mounts loose, so the trans kind of came up too. It was kind of weird seeing the flex plate and no upper oil pan. You don't usually see that. So
Hey, going back to that AC problem, what year was that truck?
what do you see?
The one you were talking about where you said it was either the module
Oh,
or
a
the
23,
evap?
a 23
Okay.
trimmer.
Because I got a 17, you can ride for like 20 minutes and it blows ice cold. After about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, the line freezes.
No kidding.
Yep. So I don't monitoring my sensor, the sensor is reading correctly. So I don't know if it's got a new expansion valve, new compressor, and a condenser.
And it still does it?
Yep.
Then you gotta fucking put an evaporator in it, probably, no? Probably a restriction?
That's going to be my next guess, but I wanted to try because he said something about the HVAC module. I didn't even think about that. But
Yeah.
the sensor's reading fine. Even if it was a sensor, I would still have to put an evap core in it because it's all, it comes with it.
Integrated?
Yeah. Well, what's killer, the 23s, the one I've already done, the one I'm going to be doing, the only way to get the evap temp sensor is with the evap evaporator. The only way to get the AC evaporator is the whole entire case. So I had to take the case out, take the heater core out, take all the blend door, not the blend doors, but the mode door actuators, the wiring harness, and kind of transplant that all onto the new one and install that back into the truck. That was the first 23 I had to do, and it did not have a center console. This one does.
One of my fleet drivers. Oh, go ahead.
There's gonna be a lot more to take off, obviously. So
one of my fleet drivers was talking about the fan on one of them. Hey, it only blows on high or off. I'm like, well, that's a resistor. You're just going to have it blow on high or off because I'm not removing your dash to put a resistor in there.
oof.
It's in because you know which one I'm talking about. It's in the very back. It's not fun to do.
We just bypassed my buddy's got a 10 Fusion, and his evap 10 sensor was doing the same thing, except it was reading negative 11 degrees. So his AC was never coming on. So we wound up being able to depin an inline connector under the dash and installing a resistor that allowed the temp sensor to read 60 degrees or whatever. And now his AC will work for, a period of time. He doesn't say it ices up, but he says it works, and we'll have to take that resistor out so that
it's my suction line that's freezing, but it only does it after about 20-30 minutes.
I wonder if you got that expansion valve. Fixed orifice messed up. What up, Eric?
What's going on?
Yeah, totally forgot. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
It's okay. It's fine. I'm used to it.
No, you don't say that.
Oh,
They make us all feel bad. Like, hey, where's that guy at?
yeah, the guy. Yeah, he's here now.
Yeah. I
I'm
saw
sorry,
the
I
email
forgot
and I
you
was
were
like,
there.
oh, maybe they're not doing it this week. And then I hop on your channel and I was like, oh, I see how it is.
I see how it is. I look down, I see Eric, I do cars. Oh crap. Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
I was thinking
He's
of some
early
kind
though.
of- I was thinking of some kind of
Yeah,
quick
I
way
didn't expect it
to
till 9:45.
yeah.
know.
I know. Yeah. Hey. I got my kids down with a huge fight, and yeah, everything's fine now.
Mhm. Oh, I
Success.
know. I know the plight. It's hard.
Yeah.
You
Every-
ain't got to lie.
Every
You ain't
day's
got
every
to
day's
lie.
different. Sometimes it's what's weird is if it's just me home with the kids, I can get them down with no trouble. But if it's my wife and I, it's all trouble.
Mhm.
It's all my son. He's 3.5.
Double trouble.
He's just
Oh, they are.
it's tough. It won't be like this forever.
Hey, that normal operation, no problem found.
Yeah.
Here's a good one for Ford Boss. Maybe you have an idea on this. This guy, where is it? Where was it? Oh, here it is. Jim and Val's Travel Channel. He has a F550 with a camper over the roof blocking the satellite radio and GPS pucks. How hard is it to get to the back of the radio on the new Lariat to put a different antenna on the truck?
On the brand new one, I haven't been into, but I know on previous none of them are really that hard.
Get dropped down the back part of the headliner, pop that little thing off, and
I didn't even when I did the last one that I did, honestly, I squeezed it in from the side and I popped the headliner down in the corner, and then I popped the other side of the headliner down.
okay.
Kind of got my hands back in there. And yeah, I did make a little crease at first, but once it settles
go
back
away.
in and
Yeah.
goes up, it goes away and you don't even see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how I did because it had 2 busted antennas on it.
How hard is it to get back of the radio on the new Lariat? I've seen somebody take it out. It's very similar to the ones with Sync 3 right now. Just a couple of 7 millis up top by the B&O speaker. Got to pop that out, and there's a trim ring, where that tray is, sort of, that pops out, and then there's some 7s that are kind of holding the top of the screen to the thingy. Had 22 EO4 done last Friday. I think A-Rod may be on to something, extending the regen mileage. I'm at 290 miles on my first regen after it was only at 35%. We'll see what the next one does. We've got some confirmed KIAs, and that seems to be the run of the mill now. My temp sensor evap was reading negative 23C, and my 1367 replaced it in 45 minutes. Bill, how did you replace it in 45 minutes? Did you cut a hole?
He had to have cut a hole.
I'd like to see that. I mean, I don't want to do it, but if it was clever enough.
I gave the customer the option for that when they came in. It was a Fusion, and it was same thing you said, Aaron. It was all bias or something like that. And I was like, I'll give you the option. I can get the sensor through an aftermarket source, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Dremel and I'm going to cut the box, and I'm going to go in there with a softer jaw. I'm going to tape the jaws up on a pair of needle nose pliers, and I'm going to lightly pull the sensor out, and I'm just going to tug on it till it comes out of there, and then I'm going to put the new one back in, and I'll push it in the core without trying to puncture anything. Now this could go south. I'm not promising anything. You have to be able to assume the responsibility that if this does go south and I damage the evaporator, now you're paying even more labor. And they should go ahead and give it a try. And it worked out. I was able to slide it back in, plug everything back in. I took some epoxy, put the little piece back in, cleaned up the edges and stuff, and you never even look like
That's what I was going to ask you. You just use epoxy to glue it back in?
Yeah, or
hell yeah.
Get it cleaned up, get the edges cleaned up real good, and I get my torch, and I've taken a flat blade screwdriver and just kind of laid it in the groove and just remelted it all back in, just re-plastic welded it.
Just type in
So I'd like to bring a point up of something. I made a mistake. In a rush, I had 20 minutes to, I wouldn't say kill, but 20 minutes to get something done. And I was working on a car on my driveway. And it was underneath the car. I tried to get a part off so I could power wash some overspray off of it. And I leaned down, tapped my power ratchet, which on a 6mm by 6x1.0 bolt, a 10mm headed bolt. It's a little guy. And it was tight. And the power ratchet slipped out of my hand and it smacked me in the side of the face. And it cut all the way through my face.
What?
It tried to give me the Joker smile on the right side. Don't get your face close to tools when you're working on them.
Is your tooth okay?
Yeah, my teeth are fine. I spit out blood for about 45 minutes. And
No way.
yeah,
Is
I
the
mean, I didn't know what I
ratchet
was at first. At first, I was like, man, I'm like my saliva glands are like running overtime. What the hell? And then I look at where I spit, and I was like, oh wait, that's blood.
You didn't like crack your teeth or anything, did you?
No, my
Okay.
face protected my teeth.
Wow.
So anyway,
Wait, what ratchet was it?
It's my Milwaukee power ratchet, the extended reach with the big battery on it.
See, Milwaukee's the bomb right there.
Alright.
Oh.
I blew
Put
my
it to the
face
test.
apart.
New bumper sticker, Milwaukee. It'll break your face.
It literally, I walked in the house
Literally.
and Megan's looking at me like,
What did
why do you have
just
that
do?
face? I was like,
Oh
well,
man.
so yeah.
Why so serious?
Yeah. So don't
Yeah.
don't get
Why?
your face close to where you're working.
Serious.
You want to know how I got these scars?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not symmetrical though. I'll find
It
something.
wasn't the Ryobi.
Yeah.
Oh, Abraham did something we all fear. Never say never. I had the worst move ever this morning. Poured 10 ounce of death into a 3/4 full diesel tank on my 22 trimmer FML. I caught myself immediately and never started or cycled the truck. Buddy, you ended it there, and I hope it ended good for you. So at least you did not cycle the key. That is the best part of your day is you didn't cycle the key. So very good. Wow, you guys are coming in. Old sensor. Okay. Made a little door. Yeah. Ran the wire harness on the side. Okay. And I screwed it. Ain't that a bean? Maybe I'll give the customer that option. It's not something I'd be proud to do, but I mean, hey, if the guy's like, hey, do you think you can cut it out? I mean, I'd want to try. I have a video coming out and I did something like that similar to mine, but I didn't go ham bony. If CPs was here, he'd be like, just cut the goddamn wire. I drilled into something you wouldn't have wanted drilled into, but it worked. And props to the guy on Facebook who messaged me and kind of put the bug in my head.
I had a guy reach out to me today. I told him to be here in the chat tonight on the live stream, but they've got it's like a 17 Super Duty with 120,000 miles on it. It's never had any problems or anything like that. And they're wondering, their question was, should I use the high pressure fuel pump as a preventative at 120 and just knock it out now and just replace it? Or should I go with the DCR? And I said, you know what? Why don't you jump on the stream tonight and ask everybody at the same time to kind of get their idea? I don't think that I would be replacing something that's not having a problem, but also at the same time, you could be saving yourself thousands by replacing it now or going to the DCR. So it's a matter of perspective and how you look at it. I think Aaron and the guys would be we should be talking as a group rather than just asking me myself.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think a lot of people would want to ask that question.
I mean, how would the people that follow you, how would they, what would they do to address it? And then also what would you guys do to address it as well?
So really what SNS has, they have two options, and we've talked about it before. I hammered out the first avenue, with the second avenue being very fresh, the first one being the disaster prevention kit. And if you have a 6.7 already and you're like, oh man, do I put this, $2,000 pump in, then pay for labor? What do I do? I could do the disaster prevention kit, rock the truck. Not saying you have a dark cloud hanging over your head. But no, if that CP4 fails, instead of putting the CP4 in, why don't you upgrade to a DCR? So it's all going to come down to money. It's all going to come down to what you use your truck for. If your truck's a moneymaker, then going from my CP4 to DCR should be a drop in the hat. That is going to drastically cut downtime. The injectors that Ford uses from Bosch are one of the best designed injectors on the market for the 6.7, and taking the CP4 out of the equation greatly increases the robustness of the 6.7. We don't have a lot of issues with these trucks. The ones that come in are the ones that are doing 10,000 hours on an oil change. You can't do that and expect the truck to last. That doesn't work like that. So thinking in those kinds of manners, if a vehicle has been taken care of and they're on the fence, money's kind of tight, the disaster prevention kit might be a better suited option for you. But if you're the dude that's got the big tires, got the stereo, got this, that, bop, 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 if you're doing all that, I wouldn't want the CP4. You might as well just get the DCR. So it's going to kind of be what scenario best fits your application. I'm going to say DCR all the way, but some people would want it. I've heard disaster prevention kit allegedly works about 20% of the time. Is that 50% of the time or all the time? I'd invite you to look at a video SNS put out talking about the disaster prevention kit. There's been multiple confirms that having their kit on saved the truck and didn't have any ill effects with the fuel system afterwards. So, notice any change, Zeekster? DCR coming, pusher. It seems like the DCR and pushers are the what do you call it? The two things that people are going for. The DCR pusher, they have options for the 15 and up trucks, or 14 and up trucks. They don't have it for the dual compressor ones, so that's the first beginning 6.7s. But having the DCR and putting the pusher on, I think there's a serviceability, and having the different airflow coming from the throttle body, once you get the intake off and see how far down the air has to go back up to get into the engine. I don't know, it only makes sense to kind of straighten that out. And I think pusher nailed it. We put one on one of our clients' trucks, and I think he's got about 50,000 on his now, and he's digging it. We just put one on an 18 Zeekster. He got the I don't know what color that was called. Zeekster, what was it? Kind of like a bronze coppery color. I don't remember what they called it. Is there any other way other than dropping the driveline to get a 22 350 to load up on a wrecker? I didn't want to recycling the key. Oh, no, brother, go my video. I show you how to drain the tank using the fuel pump that's already in your truck. You're going to have to drop the tank regardless. So familiarize yourself with what you're going to have to do to drain it before you drop the tank. There's a fuel pump driver module. Go look at the video. I show you the cross member. Look for fuel drain. Type in fuel drain and it'll pop up. And just disconnect that. You disconnect the fuel pump driver module, the fuel pump will not turn on. You can cycle the key, put it down in park, leave the key on. It ain't gonna do nothing. Fuel pump's not coming on. It's not gonna do nothing. So no fuel or anything's gonna be shot to the engine. If you want to have another peace of mind, maybe just disconnect the fuel lines on the engine fuel filter and stuff some rags down underneath it so no fuel's dripping in. There's absolutely no effing way anything's gonna be getting to the engine. So super easy. Just pull that connector off and then come get the wrecker. Tell the wrecker I'm over here. Get you some filters and watch the video taking the fuel tank down, or hopefully whoever's going to take it down is going to know, because you can't just hammer on those bolts. They got a whole bunch of Loctite on them, so you either got to use a inductive probe or use some map gas real quick and hit it and then take them out, because they'll, trust me, it's going to be a pain in the you know what. Zeekster pusher sounds effing awesome. Yeah, babe. Yeah, babe. Why are cab chassis trucks so hard to get parts for? I don't know. Okay. Darren Davis brought up a good point. Totally forgot about this. Pusher had just advised him this week that the power flow intake passed all SEMA emissions tests and is now 49 state legal. And they're working with the carb cert so that the side of the map can be safe to run in that state. So that's a plus, definitely a plus. So we got the SEMA certified pusher intake, and we got the carb cert DCR, and then everybody's going to be, hey, is this going to void my warranty? Is this what? Huh? Hey, guys, remember that white sticker right above your headlight, and it says any modifications made to this vehicle not using any Ford parts that causes a Ford part to fail, paraphrasing, is going to be on you. That's not going to be warranty. But just because you have this fuel pump in your truck or this intake manifold on your truck doesn't mean that the warranty for your rear window in-op is now out the window. That's not how that works. We have to prove that whatever you put on your truck has failed. So if you want to do something to your truck, do something to your truck. Just don't do something that's going to hurt your truck. Put on reputable equipment, such as the S&S, the DCR, the pusher intake. A lot of HSM pipes aren't going to affect any emission certs or anything. They're just pipes, just more robust kinds of pipes. So, oh yes, look at Kevin Curry. Everybody, 116 watching. Congratulations to Rain Man. Everybody, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I wish I had a BG guy. We don't have a BG guy.
You don't have a
I was
BG
kinda,
guy?
No, I was kind of just, I'm like, man, how does he get a BG? I want a BG guy, man. I
You
wonder
have
if
to
there's
call
one in
them
our
up
area.
and tell them you need a BG guy.
Yeah, I do BG. Ray, have you ever got your car from old shop?
You mean the Toyota? Is that what he's talking about? The Toyota? Yeah, about that. So what happened is somebody somebody, maybe in an effort to like I don't know, make me come get it faster, walked up and they grabbed one of the doors, like the door frame where the window is, and they tore the door frame off. So the window was like hanging off the car at a 45-degree angle. And so I was like, yeah, we're just gonna leave that there now. And I forgot ever since to go pick it back up. I mean, I was gonna go get it, but I forgot. So I don't know if it's still there or not.
I was gonna go get it.
I was going to, but
I didn't want to leave it with Shamu.
Yeah, well, man, they stole my battery out of the trunk. So after they stole the battery and then tore the door off, I was like, no, I'm not gonna go over there right now. I had better things to do. So I don't know what happened to it.
So
It's free.
PTT
If
wife
anybody wants it, it's free. Just go over there and get it.
toy order.
It's probably gone by now.
Hey, maybe somebody junked it.
Not without
Maybe
the
they
title.
cash for clunkered it.
Yeah, you gotta get the title.
PTT wife unit had a good question comment. So when you're working on your Ford truck, okay, you're in the dealership. Let's say you're independent shop for Rain Man's sake, and all you do is Ford vehicles. You're over there working. You got Eric, I do cars guy. He's over here working on the floor. He just busted his face with his electric ratchet. Okay, dude over here. He stubs his toe on the hoist arm and lowers it down. What out of your coworkers were working at the dealer? What's the worst accident you've seen? Has somebody drove through a wall?
Oh man, I got.
I don't
one.
want to say. I'm not talking about losing your LIFE. I'm just
Okay.
saying, what's the goriest one you've seen that everybody was okay?
Are you
Well,
talking about
define-
like cars falling
define
off lifts?
okay.
Sure.
Define okay.
You had to go to the hospital. You had broken leg, concussion.
Okay.
You know, whatever. I
I
don't
had
want
a
to say
hood
that
fall
yet.
on my head. I had a hood fall on my head.
Okay.
You know the strong arms that hold it up, that hold the hood up. I
Yeah.
had a pair of vice grips, which is a no-no. There's a tool that holds them up. I should have just changed them out, but I was taking the grill off and the vice grip fell in the hood.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
Chinese.
I've had that happen.
You know those old school tire machines that have you put a bar in the center of it. You put it underneath the lip, put it in the bar, and then it rotates. It's in
Oh
like
yeah.
the wheel stays. I watched one of those fly out and throw the tire spoon into a guy's arm,
Oh.
and
Close to that.
he went to the hospital, and we didn't see him for 3 days after that.
Oh.
My old service manager was out helping do tires, and the same kind of tire machine you're talking about. You put the spoon in it and then you step on it and it spins the tire around. Well, he did that, but he was walking with it and tripped, and all of a sudden you hear a crunch. It caught his pinky like this and basically ripped his pinky off, and it was just hanging by like a piece of skin.
Oh.
So he doesn't have a pinky anymore.
Yeah, those machines
So-
are dangerous. Those things are.
Yeah.
I will not
It-
use one of those.
It went in between the bead and the rim, and it just kept going with it, and it just
Oh.
yeah.
First talk of safety, Ford boss has instilled into me ever since he had that right there. Ever since he had that thing go in his eye, that piece of metal or whatever that broke away, I
Safety
wear
glasses.
my safety. I'm telling you, every effing day, except for if I'm in the vehicle, which should be no exception because I could have plastic panel or something. It is so freaking hot, man, and my things are fogging up and sweat's dripping in it. I had to pull the towel in and take my glasses off, but yeah,
I
always
almost-
be wearing some safety
I
glasses
almost lost my eye.
and steel-toed boots. I asked a couple of these young kids over here, and I'm like, 'cause I just walked up, I'm like, hey, what's up? So, you about to like go run a mile or something? He like doesn't know what I'm talking about. He's like, no, man, why? I'm like, what do you got running shoes on for, dude? He's like, he looks at him, he's like, bro, wait till something falls on your foot, man. You're gonna wish you didn't have those frickin' what's he wearing? Vans? Bro, dude.
Yeah.
Bro.
I feel like I'm not wearing any clothes at all when I don't have my steel toe shoes on at work.
Got to, or even
I-
slip resistance or something, man.
people-
That water and oil.
Some
Woo!
people like composite toe. Some people like steel toe. But I had a dude tell me one time. He said, "Could you imagine what would happen?" He said, "I was at the shop. We're standing there talking. Dude's letting down the drive-on rack. Person I'm talking to's got their foot underneath the lift where the drive-on rack. The ramp is coming down. The whole like
Ooh.
steel body." and he's not paying attention, and he's looking at me with his foot off to the side, and as the drive-on rack is coming down, it comes down with his big-ass diesel truck on it and crushes the front of this guy's boot, his work boot, and he's screaming bloody murder by the time they could figure out what was going on. Dude comes running around like, what's going on? Raise the rack up. We're saying raise the rack up. And he finally gets it raised up. And he said if that would have been a composite toe, that dude probably would have bled out inside that boot. And by the time they would have got that boot out, he would have probably lost so much blood, it would have been worse than what it was. But it was a steel toe. And what ended up happening is the steel toe crushed down, went through his skin, through his toe, severed it, but also at the same time cut the blood flow off from bleeding out completely. And they were able to leave it the way it was in excruciating pain, got him to the hospital. They got him to the hospital, and they took his toe and everything off, but he didn't lose a ton of blood. So that steel toe actually penetrated and stopped the blood from coming out. But if it would have been a composite, it probably would have still cut through his toe and stuff and shattered, and he would have bled out inside that boot. So I understand the theory behind people not liking steel toe because it's cold in the wintertime and it's uncomfortable and stuff like that. But that steel toe in that guy's boot actually saved his life.
I dropped the flywheel on mine, and my life like flashed before my eyes. It like glanced the side of my steel toe and it bounced off the side. I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it. After that, I was like, I'm never gonna be in the shop without steel toe shoes on. Never.
Even just walking by and you trip on something or kick something by accident, you hook the little shield thing that's on the front of a tire machine with your toe or whatever. Like the steel toe will save you. Proof in the pudding. Look at an old pair of steel-toed boots. They've got gouges in them all around the front of it. Like every one of those gouges. Yeah, that every one of those was some time when it didn't hurt that day, but you never noticed because you had armor on your feet.
Yeah,
they work great for stubbing your toes. They work great. But my luck, I always drop something on my foot behind the steel toe. It's like on the top of my foot.
There's not much to do about that though.
Oh, dude, I was welding an exhaust overhead once, and this big old ball slag thing fell off, and I didn't think much of it. But it landed behind the tongue of my boot, and then rolled down the tongue on top of my foot and ended up between my toes. And it felt, dude, it felt cold at first. I was like, that's weird. My
what the hell?
And then I realized what was happening because then the heat came, and I never got a boot off my foot so fast. I'm ripping the laces right off the thing. It was horrible, man. It looked like a really bad weld on the top of my foot just burn all the way down.
I did that cutting under a trailer. I was like this, and like the metal's coming down. Also, I was like, that's really, really hot. And I looked down, and really right next to my crotch, dude, there's a big hole. It went through my pants onto my leg, literally about that far. Like, closer.
The other bad one is catching your Achilles when it doesn't matter what boot you have, but you get like something heavy, catch your Achilles. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But none of these guys, some of these guys are probably thinking right now, but we see this dude every single day in his videos with fucking Crocs on while he's at work. Yeah, because I'm the fucking boss. I don't go back there and work like everybody else does anymore. I can do that.
Hushroll says we had a new guy come into the shop wearing Hey Dudes and no socks for a week before someone got him to buy boots.
Hell yeah. He's fucking living by example right there.
My dad had a tire blow up in his face while blowing it up, knocked all of his teeth out of his face, but did not knock him out. Oh,
knock me out, please.
That's scary, man. Yeah. Brother, we had a guy a guy had on his car, was on the side arm, broke pelvis, took us 45 minutes to cut him out. Don't buy foreign.
We had an instructor at UTI that was with a youngster pushing a Volvo or something like that in the shop with a forklift, a big industrial forklift. And I've told the story before, but maybe some people haven't heard it. He was standing in front of the truck, and the guy didn't the guy wasn't stopping, pushing the fork or the semi in the shop, just the tractor. And he was standing in front of it. Hey, stop. And the truck got away from the forklift because they didn't have it chained down. So whenever the forklift stopped, it would grab the chain and stop the truck from moving. Well, the truck kept going, and you pushed that truck right into that, and the senior diesel guy, and pinned him into the wall and severed his hamstring and everything all the way through to where there was almost. They were able to get him to the hospital and get him put back together. But he's still to this day, a lot of the feeling and stuff in that leg and the functionality and stuff is gone. They were able to put most of the muscle and everything back together too. I mean, medicine has come a lot, or surgery and technology and stuff has come back a long way. But I mean, I've seen people cut their eyeball open in the shop, lose their eyesight and stuff like that. I mean, I
was like 20 or 21, and I wrecked my car, and I was using my dad's drill press, and it's one of those old belt driven that you change the speed by changing whatever pulley it's on. So I reached blindly to turn it off, and I didn't look where I was reaching, and my pinky caught the belt and went between the belt and the pulley, and it V-belted my pinky. Like you just cut it out like a V-belt. And I lived on hydrocodone for like 4 or 5 days.
Yikes.
And my dad was pissed. He's like, I had to clean parts of your finger off of my drill press.
Oh.
He's like, you left a mess down there. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't. Next time I'll go back and clean it up.
That's disgusting, dude.
broke the tips of both of my fingers and ripped both of my fingernails off at the same time, working on a Mustang in Texas. Got it caught between the rim and the brake, and it took my hand and went all the way around. Like between the rim and the brake caliper. And it ripped both my fingernails. They were sticking straight up, and it broke the tips of my fingers.
I got a question for you guys. Have any of you seen people drop cars off of racks?
Yes.
Yep.
F-150 off of a rack. Yep.
Oh man.
So I've seen guys.
How many cars do you have to drop off a rack to lose your job? That's the real question.
It depends on how many techs they need, honestly.
The last couple years, you'd probably get by with a few.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Back before all this, you'd probably get fired on the spot.
We had at Dundee Ford, the dealer's closed now. At Dundee Ford, we had a freaking porter there, or it was a porter, a brand new 21 F-150, run it right into the damn fire hydrant out front of the lawn while he's parking it out there, ripped the passenger side door all the way from the front, all the way into the rear, through the B-pillar, everything. They had $21,000 worth of damage on a truck that didn't even have 30 miles on it yet.
Yeah, that'll happen.
He kept his job.
There's a guy that worked at the dealership I used to work at, and they had an air over hydraulic rack, a belly lift. And I don't know if they even install those anymore, but it was an old rack, and he's leaning on the trigger, lifting this car for an oil change, and talking to somebody else, not paying attention. And when it hit the top stop, it bounced the car and shot a rack arm out of it. And then the car fell off the rack. It was a 9701 Camry. And when it fell down, one of the other arms ripped the gas tank out of the car.
Oh,
so the car fell nose first and then on its side. And then it had a full tank of gas. They had there's like gasoline running down the parking lot. And they shut the whole dealership down. It was a huge ordeal. I mean, there was like 2 inches of gasoline in like 3 bays.
Oh,
week later, the guy got promoted.
No, he worked there. He dropped one more car off the rack and then he got fired.
Hey, Rich, you know that the F-150 that has like the suicide door in the back, but has the long bed?
Yeah.
Back in 2014, guy put one of those on the lift. And usually when I put those on the lift, I use the dead man underneath on the rear bumper. Well, he put it up and it slid backwards, and the hood caught the top of the rack, and then it was literally sitting in the bay like this. This dude he just walks over to his toolbox and starts putting his tools in, locks his box. He knew he was about to get fired. Like
we had a guy similar story to that when it was like our dealership had we had 3 rows of techs. So there was one entrance on one side and an exit on the other side. And there was two rows of stalls on that little drive right there, which was, I mean, it was I think 20 stalls long. And then the third tier all had outside doors, and they just pulled in from outside of the building into their stall. That was the good side. And the guy in the middle, he had this 3500 dually up on the rack, and he had a dead man under the rear bumper. And he went to go let the thing down, take it down off the set it down, bring it down. And somebody, I happened to look over like right as this started happening, but I saw somebody talking to him, and he had his head turned as he's letting the truck down. And I'm watching the truck, and I see it kind of go, it's just tilting a little bit. It's not right. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. What is this? And then I saw his pole jack under the bumper. The thing bowed like a bow and arrow, and then ping, shot out under the bumper across the shop. It didn't hit any cars or people, but it was close. But it shot out across the shop, and then the jostling knocked the truck down off the lift, which was still like 5 feet in the air. And it came off in one corner, went sideways, and then ended up sideways in the stall with the right front arm still hooked to it. And
oh my God,
I've never seen a building go quiet so fast. We're talking every person stopped, manager runs out. They saw what happened. They pulled the door shut so nobody else could see what just happened. And then they took it away, and I don't know what happened after that. I mind my own business.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was something else. He kept his job. Like, it was close though. They were not happy, but I guess once they looked at cameras and realized, hey, here's the steps of what happened here. You got distracted. Guy was in a hurry, blah, blah, blah. All the things that led up to disaster took place. Like, they could tell just from testimony and in the camera footage. And so that guy kept his job though, because it was a legit mistake. I mean, it shouldn't have happened, but it didn't happen because he did something
negligent.
Well, I mean,
it is negligence. It's the difference is there's no intent. There's no malintent there.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. Yeah.
He wasn't being an idiot. He got distracted and broke procedure, and that's what led to the thing falling down. But
what's that law? Anything that can go wrong will.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Yeah.
There's a lot of body like with these newer trucks with people that have like aluminum bodies and stuff like that. There's a lot of body shops that won't or don't have certified. Because it's a structural issue and stuff like that, and guys that weld aluminum and stuff, and they have to hire people to come in to do it. So a lot of times they won't even do that. Our oil guy, it was a Saturday, he backed up and the truck that was in the stall behind it was all the way up in the air on the locks, as high as it can go. And he backed up a Platinum F-150 that was jacked up right underneath the Super Duty hitch assembly and ripped the roof of the Platinum F-150 open about 14 inches on the corner all the way through the aluminum. Now the body shop came back and said, these are from 15 and above. As most of you Ford guys know, the F-150s are aluminum body. We are not repairing this. This is going to be a cab off job. This is not going to be us hiring an aluminum welder to come in and do all the metal work and stuff like that. This has to be complete cab off, interior out, dash out, harness out, everything out, all swapped over into a freshly painted cab all because dude had, and I know some of you don't agree with me. I'm not here to debate that. All because dude had expensive ass headphones or earbuds in and had his music and podcasts going, and he was going to back up and everybody was screaming at him to stop. And he couldn't hear what was going on. And backed up right underneath this truck and ripped the top of this roof and stuff open. And it was just the softest rip it was just and we're standing there the whole time and we're like, oh shit.
Did it move the other truck? Did it move the truck off the lift?
Barely, because it was a big ass Super Duty. It barely made that hitch assembly. This truck shook just a little bit on the rack and that was it. But that aluminum was so soft, it just ripped through it.
So I've done one of those 15 ups at work, and I crushed all the cars before they go on the scrap trailer. And I know they're aluminum, but I don't do enough aluminum to have a dedicated aluminum trailer. So I was just gonna crush it, throw it in with the steel. It is what it is. And I pressed down on it, and that cab exploded. Literally, it didn't crush. It just went boom, like a huge explosion of tin. And it blew the cab sides apart. It blew the skin off of it. It was the biggest mess. And I'm never going to try to crush one of those again, ever. I
Yeah.
was all
Hey,
cut up afterwards. That
Did
stuff.
you record it?
No.
No.
All right.
No.
So we're gonna have to crush one of those cabs.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get you one, at least one to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get
I'll
one
get
to
another
crush.
one. I'll get
I'll
another
help you
one.
clean it up. All right.
Okay.
So there a lot of people they love the aluminum because they don't rot out and stuff like that, but there are some caveats to it, and some of the issues are, it's they're very tedious to work on. They're not as structurally strong as the previous 14 and before, and they buckle very, very, very easy under the lightest amount of stresses. We had an old man come buy one from the dealership, and he was backing out of the service drive, brand new, just purchased it, paid cash, backing out of the service drive, and he didn't see the pole right behind him that holds up the awning. And it's a hollow pole that's only like 6 inches by 6 inches with just a small tube inside. It's just the box look is just for dress up. It's all hollow inside there. It's just a piece of metal, all hollow with just a small, like 1 inch tube in the center, 1.5 inch tube. And he backed up and barely touched that box, got it all on camera, and just caved that tailgate in on that aluminum F-150, just buckled it all right in, just barely put any pressure on it at all, at like not even barely 2 mile an hour before the truck came to a stop, and we're like, no.
Oh man.
Yeah,
The dude gets out of the truck and he's like got his hands on his face and he was like, I barely touched it. Well, that's the soft aluminum tailgates for you. That's what happens, man. That's unfortunately, and people just don't understand that. Yeah, you're getting a nicer, lighter truck and stuff now. It's going to be more fuel efficient and everything else. But it's not structurally as strong. It comes with a price.
Think of it like an aluminum can. I mean, it doesn't take much. I've seen them on the tailgates where people put stuff in the back of them. They go to like Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And you know how people will put stuff in their truck and close the tailgate and then set it on top of the tailgate?
Yeah.
And it'll crinkle it.
Oh yeah. I had a request come in for an aluminum Super Duty tailgate, and I laughed because I can't buy that stuff. And it was a shop that I know, and I looked at it and I'm like, well, like, you're a body shop, like what gives? Like, we had just repainted this truck, and we ran it through the car wash, and the car wash, I guess it wasn't lashed all the way, and the car wash slammed the tailgate down, and it hit the guy. It flexed enough to hit the guy's receiver.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh,
It sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
And they're not cheap.
And people got to be careful with them. When new technology, new lighter features and stuff like this.
You remember the old commercials of like trucks carrying a whole other truck on the bed?
Yeah. I was just telling the guy fucking on Sunday.
Driving up like this giant rock mountain, and there's a whole truck. Yeah, you can't do that with modern trucks.
Heck no.
No.
Heck no. Back of trucks, America. Yeah.
I watched a Chevy commercial where they towed like 10 logging trailers with like a 3/4 ton, it was a heavy 10, I think. And it pulled it. I mean, it went like 8 miles an hour. I'm sure it was a small block screaming its ass off, but it did it. And that was the commercial.
You remember the Tundra commercial where they were pulling the space shuttle?
Yeah.
You remember that one? That's a good selling point because I have a space shuttle in my backyard that I'm going to pull. Like,
well, there was TFL. TFL just released their video. This one of their newest videos? It was the Power Stroke versus the new Duramax, and the Power Stroke just completely chewed this thing up off the line by like almost a full truck length. And by the end of their quarter, it was like a truck and a half or something. It passed. So, I know we like our American made models and stuff like that, but ain't nobody gonna touch that Power Stroke. That's for dang sure.
That's why we're here. That's why that's what glues us together. We have all one thing in common. That is our Ford trucks. Ain't that right, Brucey?
That's right.
He's rocking the 22 450. He's got that wide track. He's proud owner of a dually. Crowdy. We got a 19 350. He's a fifth wheel. He's a bumper puller. He's a hauling do whatever you want to him, but just freaking take care of him. Bearded Fortec, he's running a hard ambulance fleet. These things don't shut off. You know what he does? He changes the engine oil every 200 hours. It's important. When you got trucks come in and you go to tell them that they need fuel filters and it's at 50,000 miles and they say, this thing's got fuel filters?
What's that?
Oh my goodness, that is not good. That is a time to educate, a time to teach and bring people to awareness about fuel filters and how important fuel is to our trucks. Not so much the gasoline, but the diesels. Diesels, what's make the world go round. Our commerce, fire trucks, rubbish trucks, tow trucks, ambulances, motorcade vehicles. Everything
Have you noticed?
has a Super Duty.
Have you noticed that the Ford F-Series trucks is what emergency vehicles use?
All of them,
Just about.
except for them lame ass Chevy Express vans.
Yeah, I see a lot of those.
Yeah, but I'm
Oh,
talking
you mean
like
the ones they designed in like the 70s and they're still using vacuum systems to run the HVAC inside?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
yeah.
That one.
Yeah, it's
But,
that. What's the year range? 2003 to 2030.
Oh my, yeah. It's never. They're just never gonna end it. They're just gonna run the design for 70 years.
Yeah.
But if you look at the majority of them, they're like F450s, F550s. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason that they use these vehicles. It's because they're basically bulletproof. I mean, you take care of them, they'll last you.
I love it. I love it.
I
And
had
just a
brought
few.
that up. I brought up about the fleet stuff, and maybe you guys can help me a little bit. Somebody was asking me why so many of the municipalities and fleets, ambulance, all this other stuff, heavy highway construction, why most of them are running all Super Duties. And I didn't know anything other than just to promote the products. I was like, because it's a fucking strong truck. That's why, man, because it fucking works. And I was like, well, so do Tundras and everything else. I said, bro, come on, man.
Tundras.
Let's be real here. You're not doing to a Tundra what you can do to these trucks every single day, man. There's and
No
plus
way.
cost wise, it's just not gonna. Yes, it's a nice truck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take away from that, but you guys knowing me, and probably wrong for saying it. I say if you want to feel like a woman, you drive a Tundra. If you want to feel like
You can't say that. You can't say that on the internet.
Well, we're gonna need some definitions on what you just said. So
anyway, and there were some upset people in the comment section at the end of that video because I did upset some people, but I just love Ford F-Series trucks. It's just when it comes down to it, I've never had a work truck like an F-Series truck, 150 and above. And I couldn't explain it any other way other than you want a work truck and that you're gonna have to put the least amount of money into when shit does go wrong, then you buy a Ford. Right now, that's just what I believe. And a lot of people said it's all based on contract, that it's not actually anything to do with the reliability of the vehicle. It's how cheap they can actually get the fleet of vehicles for. Now, I don't know how true
not
that is.
necessarily true. So my local municipality buys only Fords and they only buy Explorers. And they have figured it out that because they have been real, I guess the newer Explorers have been pretty good to them. Because they've been so good to them that they actually don't really lose a whole lot of money because of how cheap they're able to buy them and then what they're able to sell them for at auction. And they just turn them over every 40 to 50,000 miles. They have like no problems with them. There's a shop that has the contract to fix them. And they're like, yeah, brakes and tires and wheels. But that's not the car's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it just all depends on how you look at it. I tell people all the time, if I want to beat a vehicle and work it every single day, that's why I buy a Ford. That's why I own so many of them. It's because none of them have really let me down. But at the same time, I don't know how true the contract stuff is. I'd like to know more about the contract stuff.
The only thing that is contract wise on these things is tires. You have like state government pricing for a certain tire, like a police car would have a pursuit tire. Ambulances have a certain tire. That's the only thing that's really contract wise. As far as buying a vehicle, if it's in your budget, you can buy what you want. But you also build it. So you have a design process that you go through to build these things. You tell them what you want on it. So one of our ambulances, you know, on the low side, they cost about 175 grand on the low side. So,
Yeah.
but they're reliable. That's basically what it boils down to. There's really no contract. Like I have a contract with Ford to buy this. No, I mean, if Chevrolet built a good ambulance, then I'm sure they'd go to that. It just really depends. Now there is Chevys in our fleet, but they're the Tahoes, and they really don't want them. They want to get rid of them. They're costing too much money. All the lifter failures. I got a 22 that has 19,000 miles on it or something like that, and it's already had an engine put in.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
I had tonight, Jason from the Chevy dealer or whatever. He's been doing a lot of like training seminars and stuff like that, and there's a lot of speaking in the automotive field for videos and stuff that are coming out in the future for technicians and stuff like that. I was watching one of his videos on TikTok, and he said, "Look at this. This is an old photo album from back in 2007, and look at this picture that's in here. It was a picture of a brand new. It just went to AFM in 2007, the new body style." And he was like, "I haven't seen this picture in years. I never thought I'd see this picture again. But you see this brand new picture, this thing right off the transport truck, ticking right into the shop. Pull the valve cover off, start the engine up. You see that oil squirting right up in the air. That's because that lifter, that AFM lifter, is stuck and it's not actually doing its job. So instead of the oil pressure going down into the plunger and stuff and it actually functioning properly, it's just backfiring or backfeeding out of it, shooting straight out of it right up into the air because that was a malfunctioning AFM lifter right off the transport truck in 2007 when they first came out with AFM." And he said, the ironic thing is, here we are in 2023, and I'm still replacing those same lifters today.
It's like Ray said it perfect. Let's design a new engine, but keep the old lifters.
Yeah.
Yep. We're just gonna keep redesigning around those lifters.
Yeah,
those aren't the problem. It's not the lifter. No, it's the programming. Here's a new calibration. That'll fix it.
It needs an update. That's all it needs. It just
it needs another update. Yeah, I'm just like, man, it's been almost 10 years, over 10 years, and
it's been 16 years.
Is it? Oh man, I'm getting old.
Actually, no,
it's been too long. Like 3 years.
It's actually 18 years. That system came out in 2005 model year.
No way. All right.
Yeah.
They've been making trash lifters since then.
Yep.
And it's the exact same lifters. They look exactly the same.
Oh, they're the same.
We have customers that come into us all the time, and there was like a dude that came in the other day, and he's like, "Can you get this thing for me? What is this lifter called?" And I seen the spring assembly and stuff on the bottom of it, and I was like, "Did that come out of like an 07, 08 plus or whatever, like Chevy product?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's an 08 Silverado." And I was like, "I can show you exactly what that is and where the kit is right now." So I pulled it up in the computer and I said, "Well, here it is. This is what it's cost." And he said, "Oh, that's it." And it was all the way through the end of the lifter into the roller, halfway through the roller into the almost pin that holds it. And I was like, you're only getting one of these? You're not getting like a whole set, like camshaft and everything? And he was like, "Oh no, the mechanic said that it's just the lifter only." I said, "Buddy, I'm going to tell you something right now, man. There's no way you went all the way through that lifter into the roller pin and it's just the lifter. You need a camshaft and everything for this."
It's going to need a cam. And you know what's messed up is when they do that, what happens to the bottom of them is it usually flares the bottom of those lifters, and you can't pull the lifter up without destroying the bore. So you have to take the cam out and drop it through.
Yeah, I was like, does your mechanic have a shop, or is he just like a guy in like a garage around here in Chicago, like one of the alley mechanics?
He's probably got a Chevy Astro he drives around.
Yeah, the brown one. A brown one with red doors.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, the guy's just he's a mechanic. He's got his own little shop down here. It's like the garage behind the apartment building." So I'm like, "No, dude, that is not a freaking shop, man. That's a guy.
It's a storage building.
He's working out of the back of a Pontiac, Montana."
He's like, no. He says that the only thing I need is just the one lifter. And I was like, "All right, man, whatever. I don't care, dude. I'm gonna give you the lifter and then get out of here. I don't want to see you."
The sad thing is that the AFM part fails in those lifters, but the lifter himself, like the non-AFM lifters fail just as often in my experience. Like one of my guys has a 16 Silver or a Sierra, and he's got a big cam in it, not a huge cam, but a big for a truck. And it rotated a lifter in the tray, it broke a tray, turned the lifter sideways and shaved the cam and shaved the lifter. And that's happened twice to that engine. It loses oil pressure. I've had so many of those things come apart where the lifters are bad and it's not the AFM lifter that's bad. Sure, the AFM lifters collapse and they'll get stuck in the collapse position. You get all misfires and it sounds terrible, but the rollers are the same on AFM or non-AFM lifters. It doesn't matter. So I think the best advice if you're doing one of those is to put the good lifters in them. And there's an argument there, but if you put the best lifters in there and change your oil on time, you're usually okay.
Yeah.
Usually.
Hey, my Tahoe's been I got rid of the AFM at 160,000 miles. It just turned 213, and it's been perfect.
Hey.
Yep.
All right, fellas. It has been a wonderful time chatting with you all. Crowdy, big Bruce Ford Boss slowly fading in. I'll never let go, Ford Boss. I'll never let go. He's fading away. He's taking DS's spot. Much love to DS. And if you've made it this far, big warmest wishes and congratulations. We are waiting a new life into the world. CP's out. He's enjoying his much needed mama and baby time. So
it's good.
Hit him up on CP's Garage. He's got a video he had put up a couple of weeks. Last week. He did some injectors, and make sure to give him a comment and give him some love, and we will see you on the next time. Look how spaced out Cliffy looks. Night, everybody.